What's going on, guys? Matt over here with Lethal Camaro, and today I want to talk about the potential refresh for the 6th gen Camaro. Now, some of us may know that the 2018 model does have some changes coming. It's pretty much guaranteed that they're not changing many things, or if anything, about the body style of the car. It does look like a potential refresh is coming for either 2019 or, dare I say, 2020. I'm going to bet on 2019 currently based upon seeing some cars hitting the road and some spy shots. Now, this video is prompted because of some shots released by Autoblog. Now, we're not entirely sure if Autoblog took these shots or if they basically paid for the images from someone else that took them. I just don't know, but I will give credit to Autoblog, a link down below in the description linking to their site with the images. Now, all that being said, there's some things to be said here. If a refresh is coming, there's a couple things to think about. In most instances, and again, we saw this in the 5th gen Camaro, is they usually will upgrade some of the gadgets, some of the gizmos in the car, and usually will update the front bumper and the rear bumper of the car to change some stylistic things. Now, the 5th gen did go a little bit further, where the quarter panels and side panels and all that stuff were definitely smoothed out and given a little more angular looks to kind of look a little more fit in a way. Maybe that's a bad description of it. But in this instance, you could see in these images here that the car is very much not changing in the center portion. Now, does that mean it's not changing because these cars don't have anything changed to the center portion? No, it doesn't. But it would be very unlikely that GM would send another fleet of cars around that is a massive fleet. You know, it's more than just one car in the wild that has these changes. Now, one of the other things is they have this big goofy front clip covering the front end. Now, there could be a lot of reasons for that. If you guys remember the 2018 Mustang, one, images were leaked ahead of the actual reveal of the car, but two, there was a pretty big backlash from the car community that the front end of the 2018 Mustang wasn't all that great, and maybe GM is trying to hide that a little bit more. Typically you see the leather coveralls on the car, but in this instance there's just a really big buildup of it. Now, it makes me wonder, what could they possibly be doing to the car for the refresh? Now, there's a few things we can look at that can really drive this. In comes the Transformer Camaro. Now, many of you guys have probably seen this image across the internet, or multiple images of this car. But you can definitely see the front end on this car is completely different from the 6th gen body style we have right now. But there's a lot of things about the car that does represent the 6th generation Camaro that we know and I love, maybe you guys potentially love. And in that, I have to question, could the Transformers version of the Camaro kind of give us the first look of what the front end of this car is going to look like? Now, we've only seen the car with that matte black or blackish paint with the bumblebee yellow. It's kind of a goldish yellow in this iteration rather than the bright yellow. But we haven't seen it in multiple different colors or how it could be split up. Now, looking or trying to peer into some of the little holes, you could definitely see two distinct areas, an upper bumper and a lower bumper, or an upper grille opening and a lower grille opening with a bumper in between, which very much mimics the design now, but I will say the upper bumper looks like it has a wider grille opening, which in turn would yield better airflow and all that kind of stuff. But does that match what the Transformers setup looks like? I don't know. You guys be the judge. Let me know in the comments below, but here's a couple images of the Transformers car to give you guys an idea, and here's a couple shots up close of what could barely be seen in these prototype cars driving around. Now, turning the car around, because we really can't see much, the hood from the top-down shots looks mostly the same. There is some covering on it, so it's hard to really determine if it has changed at all, but it definitely looks like the hood vents are there. But turning the car around, going to the back of the car, there are a few things to take note of. One, the taillights. Now, if you guys remember the 5th gen, the taillights were something that were updated from the refresh during that model's generation. And with that being said, if we look through those little peer holes, you could definitely see different lighting patterns there, but that could just be GM doesn't have the proper housings in place, or they just needed to throw something there to pass around so the cars can drive. I don't know, but looking through the pier hole definitely looks circular in nature with LED style lights. But again, I am of the opinion that these may just be temporary lights for the purpose of being able to drive the car, but we'll see. But I'm fully expecting some changes to the tail lights to differentiate the car from, you know, the 2016 through the 2018 models, and then the 2019 and beyond, or 20, we'll see. That being said, if you look at the rear side panel just behind the tire, you know, where the bottom, you see the side of the car kind of come down to a point and then it tucks under on our current cars. On this car, there's actually a bulge, like it kind of sticks out. Now, this could be GM playing with our feelings and just throwing our sight lines off, or our eyes off, and making us think that there's a big bump out there. Now, there could be, I don't know, but in these images, you tell me if I'm crazy or not, it definitely looks like it bumps out versus just a flat panel coming down and tucking under. There is definitely a bulge there. Now, does that mean the body panel's changing, or they're doing something different? No, it doesn't. Again, it could be GM building up areas to throw off our sight lines and throw off our imaginations of what these could look like. But to me, it definitely looks like that line wraps around to the rear fascia of the car and kind of blends in. Now, does it look bad? I'm not entirely sure, but some of the other things around the rear is it looks like they've doubled down on that Euro look in a sense, where everything is clean lines. They look like they flattened some areas up. They're not many angular angles, sorry, lack of better words to describe that. But it definitely looks like a cleaner rear side of the car, but it definitely looks like they're doubling down on that Euro look. That's just my opinion on these images here. And again, this could just be GM hiding things or making things look different just to throw us off. But now, the things that these images don't do is they don't speak to potential upgrades in the motor department or suspension. Now, I don't see GM changing much in regards to wheels or brakes or drivetrain. Now, things that they could change would be horsepower and torque ratings. We all know the LT1 can be and is able to be rated at a much higher setting, but that's at the cost of fuel mileage. So if they do bring in the upgraded fuel rails and stuff like that from the Corvette Grand Sport, that definitely could increase horsepower for the car and obviously increase performance. By how much, we don't know, considering the Camaro is a heavier car than the Grand Sport. But we also, or I think a lot of people may want to see the A10 transmission in the refresh. Now, we all know that both Ford and GM worked together to develop this. Actually, Ford was the primary developer and GM also stepped in to help. Now, Ford debuted its 10-speed auto in the Ford Raptor truck first, and GM debuted it in the ZL1, as we all know. And yeah, we know that the new 2018 Mustang is going to be seeing the A10 automatic, which is a beast. If you guys have not seen it or driven a car or watched a video of that car shifting, it's ungodly. And I know that's heresy for you manual guys, but I can't get over it. Like, it's intoxicating in a sense. It's just crazy. So that being said, I think a lot of people would like to see the A10 in the refresh of the Camaro. Whether GM will do it or not, we don't know, but I will tell you there is a sense of not enough allocation for the ZL1 A10. So I know a lot of dealerships are trying to get them, and GM is just not making a lot of them currently. Now, does that mean that GM can't make enough automatics to roll it out for the general SS and LTs, etc.? No, it doesn't. GM could be just limiting it for the ZL1 for whatever reasons, but I do know a lot of people would like to see it. Now, what are some of the other things that we would like to see? We do know that GM is releasing the 1LE Recaro seats as an option to buy now for the 2018 model year. So I fully expect that to carry over for 2019, which will be really nice because you can get a standard SS without having to get the 1LE package and get the nice Recaro seats in there. If that's something that floats your boat, great. If not, oh well. But you know, more options the better for the consumer who maybe wants to build their cars for different things. For me, my car was a daily driver, but I also want to be able to take it to the track and not worry about sliding out of my seat or being thrown on heavy G's on the road course. Now, if I could, I probably would have bought the Recaro seats at the time of ordering my car, but Me, I wanted it now, and so I ordered as soon as I could, and no options were available. The 1LE didn't exist, the ZL1 didn't exist, we didn't even know when they were coming. So I'm very happy with my car, and hopefully I will be able to secure ZL1 seats to match my upgraded interior. But that all being said, the 2019 refresh is looking very much like that. It's a quick and easy refresh for GM, something to change the styling. Maybe they'll listen to some of the cries from the 5th gen owners who haven't yet crossed over to check out the 6th gen. I know there still is a lot of animosity between 5th and 6th gen owners. You guys could probably deny it, but I will say there seems to be a lot of hate coming from the 5th gen owners, just either not super happy that GM didn't really change the body style too much from the 5th gen. I think there's quite a bit of changes, but you know, it does mirror a classic design of the 5th gen, and I can't deny that. But I still think the car looks really clean and nice. I do think GM can benefit from potentially dropping the price a little bit. We could tell that they're not, you know, hurting too bad by doing so, because they've dropped the prices of 16s and 17s quite a bit throughout the year to make sure they're moving cars and they're not sitting on a ton of inventory. So we do know that there's some price room to make these cars move. It would be nice to see them become a little more competitive with Mustang in the refresh model years, which, you know, they're pricing the car as a sports car, not necessarily your bargain bin muscle car anymore, and I can understand that direction. But we definitely don't want to see a situation where the Camaro is not selling enough cars to where GM feels that product's not worthy. Now, I don't think we're at that stage at all, and I hate even bringing it up, but a lot of people do talk about it, and it is something I wanted to acknowledge. But it would be nice to see things a little more competitive, or maybe be able to strip out some more of the options to be more like the competitors in a sense, so you can get that price down, because there's just some goodies in cars that not everyone needs, and I don't think that's something that you want to push someone off to go buy another product or car. It would be nice to keep them in the Camaro world if it helps them afford it that much easily. Maybe that's just my opinion. I could be completely wrong, but either or. It's nice to have the cars. I love the 6th gen Camaros. I'm really interested to see what GM actually ends up doing with this car in regards to the refresh. I do hope that they do bump up the power output a little bit, just to contend. Rumors are circling around that the new the new Mustang will match the Camaro for power, but we'll see if that's true. Either or, I do appreciate you guys watching this video. Let me know what you guys think. What did you guys think of these images from Autoblog? Do you think they're the refresh? Do you think it could just be a heavily disguised Z28? I really don't with what we're seeing. It looks like basic Brembo brakes, basic wheels, standard staggered setup, you know, single tips. It just does not seem like a high-po car whatsoever. So if you think otherwise, again, let me know. But thanks for watching this content. Hopefully you found it somewhat entertaining or interesting. But I will be conversing and responding to comments down below, as I always try to do. Make sure to hit that subscribe button again if you did find it interesting. If not, likes, comments, shares are appreciated. Check out the Lethal Garage links down below if you guys are interested in shirts, decals, or anything else that helps support the channel and my son. And as always, if I don't see you in the next video, I do hope to see you on the road.